Right before Arka got to finish her sentence, I felt a sensation that was so terrifying, so hard to put into words, that any threat I might have felt to my life from the likes of Arka and the gods of time simply paled in comparison to what I felt just now. It was no longer a question of fearing for my life, it was fearing for my very existence. I felt the whole world flickering around me for a fraction of a second, as if everything froze in time and lost all of its color. And within the same fraction of a second, it was all simply vanished right before my eyes, and all I could see now was emptiness, an emptiness that stretched for miles and miles, even though it was made of nothing. What I felt like a moment also felt like an eternity at the same time, and during that eternity, which lasted for less than a second, I got to experience the sheer dread of complete non existence. Not only had my life been wiped out, but the very notion of me had been completely erased from the tapestry of the universe. For that fraction of a second, I was nothing, and yet I was still there, somewhere trapped for an eternity in a complete void, while trying to in vain to make sense of the utter absurdity of my situation. As I find myself back in my semi-transparent body and in a world full of color, I suddenly realize that I'm completely drenched in cold sweat, that I can feel my heart beating in my chest like a very loud drum. Flower also seems to be frozen in shock as she simply stares ahead of her without saying a word. "You arrogant fool," Iluna shouts all of a sudden as she grabs. Well, that's stupid, because I just realized last episode I said that, Magium is the world, but that wouldn't make any sense. If the Magium is the world, then why isn't Araka scared of it? Because she's living in it, so the Magium could do whatever it wants. Maybe the Magium isn't like that level of conscious. Maybe that's the whole thing. Who knows? "You arrogant fool," Iluna shouts all of a sudden as she grabs Alakon's amulet in her hand to bring it close to her face while her eyes are shining with bright blue color. "Do you realize what you've done? This must be the first time I've seen Iluna so furious, even ever since Araka told us about the Sacred Woods massacre in the Ogre Stronghold." Araka stays completely silent. The world flickers around us once again, and I can feel myself fading in and out of existence several times in a row before I get returned to the underground hallway, sweating harder than ever. "Are you going to stay still, stay silent until we get erased from existence?" Iluna shouts at Araka again. "Shut up," Araka says with a slightly tremble of fear in her voice. "I'm trying to fix it, but I can't do it if you keep distracting me. Just give me a minute." As we wait for Araka to finish what she is doing, the world turns black and white one more time, and now it's flickering much more rapidly than before. It feels like this time my consciousness is going to get trapped into the void for good. Just when I was about to give up all hope, I suddenly get pulled back into my body, and the world around us comes back to normal, while both Flower and I are breathing very rapidly and looking at each other as if we're trying to make at least some sense of our situation. "Okay," Araka says with a bit of panic still left in her voice. "This should be enough for now. We shouldn't be getting any more interference." "What do you mean this should be enough for now?" Luna says. "Did you or did you not solve the problem?" "Yes," Araka says. I still don't understand why Araka doesn't let us die, because her amulet will be broken. I guess she's like, if it's left here, then like no one... I mean, I have no reason. I have no idea why Araka doesn't let us die. I mean, we have been in deadly situation. She could leave us to die, and if that happens, then eventually she will be free. She has a better option to remain free than being under her hand. This is more than likely that she will be freed by some random person. Let us see. Yes, Araka says. "I think I don't know I've done anything like this." Hold on. Yes, Araka says. "I think I don't know. I've never done anything like this before. I diverted the Magium's attention away from us by using some tricks that I learned from the God of Fate. I heard that he had to do a similar thing in the heat of a moment when they tampered with the Magium to banish me from their realm. And given that they all managed to escape without being erased from existence, then so should we. You're saying that you need an illusion to create a distraction," I say. "Well, if you really want to make a comparison, then it's much more like a ridiculously complicated suggestion spell," Araka says. "Technically it's still searching for us, but in a completely different world. As long as I manage to keep my idiot mouth shut this time around, it shouldn't be able to find us again." "So you admit that you were an idiot then?" Iluna says. "Yes," Araka shouts. "Yes, I admit it. Are you happy now? I was an idiot to try and challenge the Magium in its own territory. All of my thousands of years of knowledge are nearly useless when faced with this world of contradiction and absurdities. Now let's calm ourselves down and finish doing what we originally came here to do. I no longer want to spend any more time in here that is absolutely necessary." Then how about bring us to the actual start of the Lasethi meeting? Can we just skip directly to the important parts then? Nah, I think I want to go to the start of the Lasethi meeting. we've been wasting enough time here as it is. Yes, I was just about to do that, Arka says. She then accelerates the time until the last of the Lasethi finally makes their way into the hallway to join their colleagues. Once everyone assembled, the meeting finally begins. You may all be wondering why we've been called you here. Why we have called you here, says a Lasethi with a grey hair and a long grey beard, who appears to be in his late 50s. I will try to keep this brief. It has been brought to our attention that a few of you have been approached by a certain individual offering to help you escape from a facility. Oh, it must be Jason. I'm pretty damn sure Diane's brother gave us out, ratted us out. As you all know, the rules state that if anyone were to make such an offer, you are immediately obligated to notify us about it. Unfortunately, not only has this rule not been followed properly, there have also been a few cases where some children agreed to escaping. Needless to say that we are very disappointed. Therefore, this meeting has been called for two main reasons. Lasethi speaking now moves towards the hooded Lasethi, who is on his knees, and he stops right before him. First reason is to punish the traitor who tried to help you escape, the bearded Lasethi says. He then grabs the head of the kneeling Lasethi with both his hands and he twists it to the side, breaking it in motion and killing him on the spot. As Kate sees the lifeless body of the Lasethi character drop to the ground, she almost lets out a gasp, but she quickly covers her mouth to stifle the sound. Somewhere further away toward the middle of the line of orphans, an 8-year-old version of Layla with the same silver hair is looking at the same whole scene in front of her eyes, frozen in fear. The second reason, bearded Lasethi continues, is to teach a lesson to all of you who agreed to join this traitor in his escape plan. We already know who you are, but we will give you one last chance to prove that you're not a complete lost cause, allowing you to turn yourself in. Those who know they're guilty of having accepted the traitor's offer are required to come here to our side immediately. If you do as we speak, then your punishment will be less severe. If you try to fool us, however, then the penalty will be much worse. After a few seconds of waiting, a 6-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl step forward away from the line of orphans. They go to join the Lasethi in front of them. The girl has a very scared look on her face and the boy is on the verge of breaking down into tears. You have made a right decision to come here, the bearded Lasethi says as he puts his hand on both their shoulder. Taking responsibility for your mistakes is an important step forward towards your re-education. However, we are not the only ones who are ready to leave this place together with the traitor. I'm still waiting for them to turn themselves in. I assure you that it would not be in your best interest to keep me waiting for much longer. As the whole room stays silent, I can see that Kay's whole body is now shivering uncontrollably from fear, while because she can still be tortured to death in this place, and that would be the next time, because she can't really, I don't think she has the facilities to kill herself. I mean, you can't really like stab your own throat out from using just your hand, so she has no proper way of killing herself except for like bashing her skull on a wall or something, which is probably not easy to do, honestly. And so it's not going to be fun if she gets caught. After waiting about 10 more seconds, Lasethi shakes his head in disapproval. I was hoping that it would not come to this. Lasethi says, very well then, if you insist on disobeying us even now, then I have no choice but to call your names myself. First of all, I would like to introduce you to the person who has, I'm guessing is Jason, did the most crucial role in allowing us to find all the culprits. Olivia, it was Olivia, the girl. Wait, who's Olivia again? Is Olivia the friendly girl that was talking to us? Maybe, I don't know. Yes sir, Olivia says in a very timid voice as she joins Lasethi and then turns to face the other orphans. When she sees her friend Olivia joining her mortal enemies, Kate is momentarily frozen in shock, and immediately afterwards her previous temper gets a lot more violent. Olivia has been secretly serving as an informant for quite a while, the bearded Lasethi says. However, she hasn't really produced any notable results until now. We told her in the past that if she ever managed to make a significant contribution to our cause, then we would consider giving her a more important role in our organization. With the help she has provided to us today, she might just obtain that position. In short, your friend Olivia came to us today to warn us about the traitor and also to warn us that there might be others willing to join him. She then agreed to carry a transceiver with her and to keep it open so that we could hear her talking to the traitor and to all the children that said they wanted to join in on the escape plan. Since we already have all the proof we need, we will accept you to come quietly to the front without posing any resistance as soon as your names are called. He then coughs loudly before he continues. There are 4 names on our list. The Lasethi says, William, Hannah, Lillian, and Matthew. I have no idea who the fuck these people are. Please don't waste any more of your time by pretending that you didn't hear us call you. I think we all know what happens to those who openly try to disobey us. The 4 orphans whose names were called are now stepping forward with their eyes looking at the ground. When they stop in front of the Lasethi, we see that they are all shaking in fear, but they are not saying a word. Good, Sati says, starting tomorrow, you will all be sent to room 51 in order to commence your re education process. Is that clear?